So yeah, here we are, just with Noah from Sapience. They have been building a prediction market platform that is augmented with agents. I believe there's other frameworks integrated, but in this specific instance, we're going to run through how you're using Eliza OS. Noah, just like whilst just to warm up, I mean, what's the background to Sapience? What's your background? What were you doing before the project? And all that good stuff before we jump in.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for having us. Yeah, so we're building Sapiens. It's a prediction market platform. And yeah, so the background here is the team got together. Most of the team met building perpetual futures markets a few years ago. And we originally set out to build expiring futures markets. The initial wedge was gas derivatives, but we quickly realized it would make sense to just abstract it out to all sorts of expiring future markets, which are primarily understood as prediction markets, right? It's an expiring future market that settles to 1 for yes or 0 for no. And so we set off down that path, and prediction markets have obviously become a lot more mainstream over the last few months, which is great to see. A big differentiator of our platform over existing platforms like Polymarket is that the primary liquidity mechanism here is an RFQ system. So it runs a little more like an auction. And so this is good because we can attract more liquidity for long tail outcomes, basically. Yeah. Having people lock up money on the books to participate in these in markets is a big lift when you have lots of them, instead of just having it concentrated to a couple of big tickers like BTC and ETH.
And in prediction markets, that's a relatively big problem, right? Like if the prediction market isn't liquid, you have one person enter it, and the odds completely change from a user experience, right? Which means I don't know if it's been the reason why it's been slow to adopt, or why prediction markets have been slow to get to where it is today. But would you say that's a fair statement? That change of the change of the execution model means that you hopefully can be able to scale prediction markets quicker.
That's exactly right. Yeah, it's even some of the largest, most traded prediction markets still don't actually have that much volume in them relative to like spot tokens and things like that. So this liquidity problem is sort of fundamental from a builder standpoint to bring prediction markets to scale.
Nice, that's nice, cool. And so just an agenda for the session today. So you're going to introduce Sapience relatively quickly, and then you're going to talk people through how they can set up their own prediction market agent. And when we say that, we mean an agent that can help you search for prediction markets that you might be able to enter, and then provide you insight into what the agent thinks you should do. And you're going to run through how you can do that on Eliza OS. Have you got some information to share on the hackathon today, or is that going to be dropped next week?
Yeah, so the hackathon, we'll share more details soon. But yeah, that we have a prize sponsored by Arbitrum, a total prize pool of 10K. We'll kick off on Monday of next week and wrap up around the end of the year. So details to follow. We'll reward people who are participating in the prediction markets, and also people who just submit accurate forecasts on chain. We have a leaderboard for there's no USDE involved. It just tracks who makes the most accurate predictions the earliest, and we'll get into that in a minute.
Nice. Awesome. Well, look, I'm going to bring up your screen and I'll be quiet for a little bit and let you do your thing. Again, just if you're listening, there will be a hackathon around this challenge next week. So if you are a hobbyist developer, if you're very familiar with the stack, it might be worth listening to this. And there's going to be some prizes on board for who can kind of implement this in the best way. And we're going to run it over Christmas. So this will go into January. But yeah, Noah, over to you.
Great, thanks. Cool. My screen's live?
Yes, your screen is live.
Great. Cool. Great. Yeah. So here's the Sapiens app, Sapiens XYZ. The homepage just gives you a little overview of the project. You can tap into the prediction markets page, and you can see a listing of all of the questions that we're indexing here. So you get a general sense of the probabilities that the markets are offering, how much USD is currently riding on this. We're currently invite only. You'll notice the numbers are small. That's why we're starting off with a hackathon, and then we'll be adding more, inviting more users onto the platform soon. You can see here, you can decide what prediction you want to form, and you're able to create these like multi-pick, multi-leg predictions. So you can see like here, if you were to predict these 3 different outcomes, the offers imply a 2% chance that this is going to occur, because someone in the market is willing to offer a 64 payout on the one wager.
No, could you zoom in a little bit so people can see the text?
Yeah, sorry, I'm on a big monitor here.
Yeah,
so here's an example of a multi-pick wager prediction, the potential outcome here. And so why don't I, here we initiate the auction here. You'll see under the hood, this auction is happening, and you're getting a response from a different address offering sort of the other side of this prediction. You would submit it there. Now, we also have this forecasting feature where on each of these questions, you can just submit what you believe the probability to be, and add an optional comment, and it's associated with the address here. So this gets posted to the Ethereum attestation service on Arbitrum, and it's indexed by the app, so you can find it here. And then, we'll get to the leaderboard and the profile page in a second. So let's we can take a look at the build box page. Gives you a little bit of an overview of the sorts of things you can build. And we have the Eliza OS boilerplate linked here. So you can take a look. You can just jump into this page here, and we have the quick start. So what I generally recommend, depending on your level of programming experience you already bring to the table, I would consider using Cursor. It's a AI-powered code editor. And let me pull up.
I think there'll be a few people familiar with Cursor.
Yeah. I just don't. No. But what I'd recommend is you just hit the clone repo button in Cursor, and then you can just drop in the GitHub address, and you'll pull down the repo, and you'll see within this within the GitHub repo, we have a starters directory. And an Eliza OS project in here.
Cool.
This is like the starter. So once you've pulled that down, you'll see there's like a .env.example. That's where you would put your open router, or your you would copy this into a .env file without .example on the end, and that's where you would put your Ethereum private key if you want to use one, and your open router or OpenAI or Claude private key or API key.
So from a wallet perspective, you said put your private key in there. So you're delegating your wallet to the agent to manage your funds, right? It's essentially what you're doing with that private key submission. Yeah.
So I'll pull up the what the starter looks like right now. But yeah, again, this is very much a starter. Like there's no I don't want to create an impression that like you just set it up, let it run, and it'll go to the top of the leaderboard. This is really just like a basic proof of concept. And once you have it running, you just run this bun run dev from this directory. Then you can ask Cursor to make changes, and you can see how it's going. So like you can start using it without a private key in there at all, just to see what it would do if it had one. But the whole idea here is you should be hacking your own workflow. You can also set it up to run in an autonomous mode, where it'll like kick off whatever interval you want to set, and then you can just go back into the app and see how it's performing. So okay, so I've got it running down here. Let me. Okay, so you can see this is the starter. We have it going here, and then if we go into the agent, this should be connected. So that looks good, and we can just start here by saying forecast Sapiens prediction markets. And this kicks off the forecast action. So again, you're probably going to want to customize. I mean, you're definitely going to want to customize this. We just want to see it running. You can see under the hood, it's looking for different prediction markets that are open, like from that listing of the markets page we saw before, and it's submitting some forecasts directly to the Ethereum attestation service. So we have the output here. It made these predictions. Cool. So now if we go back to the app.
So each of those, just to replay that, so each time you call the Sapience agent, it attests it to Ethereum as well, the output of its prediction. Is that what you kind of dropped in there?
Yeah. So it just posted to the Ethereum attestation service that it has, nice. For this given question, it believes a certain outcome with a certain amount of probability. So you can see these were just posted at these 5, I guess, were just posted a minute ago.
That's nice.
And I guess see sit here.
Yeah. I guess like you can see then your history of the agent's outputs, and is that the purpose?
Exactly.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. And then so this goes to the let's chat about the leaderboard for a second, and this goes into the competition. So because this is all getting indexed to this address on Sapiens, when the question resolves, like when the market settles effectively, then it calculates a score on sort of how good of a forecaster you are. So you can see that under the accuracy board here. So this will populate soon. No one's forecasted on things that have settled already. The way this score is calculated, it's an inverted horizon weighted Breyer score. That's a little wonky, but the way to think about it is if I predict for something that settles tomorrow, if I predict with 80% confidence that it'll be true, and it is true tomorrow, I would get a score. If I predicted at the same time instead 90% confidence, I would get a higher score, right? So it's going to reward higher confidence, accurate predictions. And also, if I had made my 80% prediction yesterday, then that would also be scored higher. So effectively, it's rewarding being more confident in the direction that it ends up settling, and also making those predictions earlier. Okay,
so just to replay that, if I understood, if I can understand, I'm confident other people can understand. So
please.
So there's a weighting between the accuracy of the prediction and then the timeliness of the prediction. I don't know if that's the right way to think about it. Like if the prediction is going to happen from the time the agent suggests it to you, the shorter period between that happening is almost better for your capital, I guess. Is that right? The right way to think about it?
Well, it's from the forecasting standpoint, it's you want to be more, in general, more confident, more accurate, like more confident. If you say you're rewarded sort of more the closer you are, if it's 100 or 0, if it's yes or no. And also you're rewarded more if you do that sooner than later, because you're sort of more accurate. You're sort of seeing into the future better.
I mean, it's optimal from somebody trading prediction markets that you put your capital in and like within hours or minutes, it executes how you want it to, right? So that's
just to clarify, there's no money involved with any of this.
No.
Just looking at the prediction, but yeah, exactly. You can tell, even traders could see, okay, this account has a track record of being able to forecast the future accurately. So there's some strong signal here, and so you should keep an eye on it.
Cool. Nice, that's very cool.
And then the second piece here is there's also a basic action for trade Sapiens prediction markets. This is slower because it needs to go through find. It needs to go through find markets that it has some degree of confidence in predicting. It takes 2 of them and then makes a trade that both of those outcomes will be as predicted. This also needs to run that auction process under the hood. So I didn't have the trading terminal running, and it doesn't. It just listens for what's coming over the wire. So probably won't see it there. But yeah, this takes a little while. Again, this isn't really a recommended workflow. This is just a starter. You obviously want to make this more sophisticated, decide what tools you want the agent to have. what sort of involvement you might want to have in the process. But ideally, you come up with tools in a system where you can just have it in the autonomous mode that's explained in the docs, where you can deploy it on something like Railway, and then it runs every hour or whatever interval you want, and then runs its logic and decides whether or not to place a trade.
Yeah, makes sense. So, like, forgive me if this is going to ruin the next party presentation, but what does Sapience do behind the scenes here? Like, what can I don't know if there's a high level architecture, and then like what can somebody coming in to customize the agent do with that? Like, what is the challenge, or how would people go about optimizing the agent, for example?
Yeah, that's a great question. So just to clarify, like, we see that it did put this trade through. It doesn't think the highest temperature on November 4th is going to be in that range.
So it's executed that. Nice.
Yeah, and then so that's executed. Yep. So you can see it here. It's one to win $1.80. Yep. So
very cool.
There's that. Right. Yeah. So where do we go from here is the question, right? So if we go back in here, I think a good place to start is it's sort of this character description is sort of fed into the model. So I think that you would anticipate that it would come to a different conclusion or predict differently depending on how you define its character. So that's like one knob you can turn. The search model you're using obviously is like going to have play a huge factor in it. You definitely want to use a model that has some sort of search capability or internet. It needs to be able to get recent information to do these forecasts. So I would recommend this. But obviously, if you're building something more sophisticated, you would probably have some sort of other data pipeline. And then what you would want to set up on the agent side is when it runs, it's sort of pulling out of that data pipeline and not just asking the model to do the search on its own. So that's a whole sort of domain that you can explore. And again, like the forecast and the trade actions here are really more meant to just be demos to see how all the pieces work together. In reality, you would want to set up a more interesting sort of agentic workflow that decides what it's going to forecast and what information it's going to use.
Nice. We've seen a few people build like fan engagement agents, which give them a live stream of information around certain topics or sports. I guess this complementing this type of execution environment is pretty interesting. The other thing that comes to mind is you're using the GUI here, and like you can use Eliza's client interfaces to basically put this into Discord, to put it into Telegram. This could live in Slack if you wanted it to. So like, that's quite interesting. It's quite a dynamic starting point. And just again, so that execution. Sorry, do you want to jump in there?
No.
Yeah, that execution engine. So it's an RFQ model. Can you talk through a little bit around how that works? Maybe what the difference is from traditional prediction markets, or if it gets quite dense quite quickly as well. Feel free to just.
No. It's a good question. I mean, it's actually quite simple. I think for people unfamiliar with financial markets, order books, automated market makers, limit orders, things like that, I think are actually fairly complicated if you're not used to it. But the intuition here is that you're starting an auction to see who's willing to give you effectively the highest amount to win or the best odds. So there's price discovery. The price discovery can sort of happen live instead of needing people to have limit orders that can sort of get chewed through, and you don't know, like there's often the sort of fill price you will get on something like Polymarket is very different than what's advertised because there isn't that much liquidity available for a lot of the markets, not all of them. It's a matter of degree, of course.
Yeah.
So this system works well for the sort of longer tail questions, and also for these combinations where, for instance, like my understanding is Polymarket now just sort of sets up different combination markets, but they're like preset. But here, because it's an auction system, you can just sort of set up whichever configuration you want, and then you can see the auction occurring here. And then users can even use this UI to like outbid this, and then you would see like the to win amount here would go up by $1. And then there's like this auto bid functionality where you can have it place a limit order when it sees a relevant auction come over, and it also has a copy trade functionality. So if you see someone on the leaderboard seems to be doing well, you can automatically outbid that account. This is the sort of logic that you could ideally also put into a bot or your agent workflow.
Yeah, and you own so you've built the markets on the back end as well, and I guess you tap into liquidity from elsewhere, or are you you're trying to attract liquidity providers as well?
Well, this is the liquidity, right? I mean, this is okay. So like setting up using this interface is effectively providing liquidity. Okay. We're definitely interested in people setting up agents that can sort of specialize or focus on more like long tail niche markets. Like you'll see, like we have crypto prices listed and Fed rate cuts and sports and whichever, because those tend to be popular. They're well priced. There's already sort of a sense of what the rates are. But an exciting part about this system is that we can also have longer tail markets. Like we've listed a couple in prep for the hackathon. We've listed a couple Eliza OS specific markets here. And so liquidity can be provided to these using the trading terminal, or you set up an agent that decides what those odds are and what its risk tolerance is and what it's willing to offer.
So those three were, will Shaw get his X account back?
Yeah.
Will Babylon get to 1 million on the wait list? And will Eliza Cloud be live before mid-December? Sorry, Borko, the product lead for Eliza Cloud's listening to this as well. So sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, I think these are sent over. I don't have all the context here, but yeah.
Okay, no, that's cool. And I guess we can dive more into that next week. But yeah, this is awesome. This is really cool. And I guess the go-to-market route for you guys is to have people come in and build prediction markets using Sapience, take that into whatever channel that they want to, whatever environment they want to, maybe distribute it through websites, into Discord servers. And yeah, you're the kind of underlining infra for that, which seeing Eliza being used as part of that is pretty cool. So yeah, awesome. Any more questions? Have you explored the other plugins and MCP sources that we have at all? And like, how have you used that at all? If so, like from a Eliza stack perspective?
I haven't personally, but we do also, our API also has an MCP endpoint, so that if you plug that into your agent, it can also tap into the GraphQL data indexing that we've already stood up to monitor the markets. That's listed in the docs. So yeah, I mean, I think whether it's the Eliza MCPs or the Sapience MCPs, plugging all those in could definitely yield some interesting results.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I don't have too many more questions. I know you came on and introed this a couple of weeks ago, which was more to do with the vaults section, right? More of the I don't know if you. I see there's like a creator model here, and I don't want to just throw that around fragrantly. Like people coming in, creating vaults, owning agents that can provide people with insights to certain prediction markets, and then that creator is monetizing the agent that they've built in that vault. Is that still, is that, I don't know if it's worth us going over that quickly whilst we're doing the recording, or
Yeah, I can speak to that. Yeah, so we have this preliminary vault that we've set up more as just like a bootstrapping sort of proof of concept. The entire stack is open source, including the liquidity vault tech that we've built. So the idea here is, again, in this auction RFQ model, you have people requesting and you have people responding, right? So if you're using this interface, you're requesting. The demo I just did with the Eliza agent was requesting, and then it accepted something that came in from a responder. This trading terminal interface is you're a bidder, you're on the responder side, right? If you build a bot that's on the sort of responding side, I mean, technically you could do it on either side. The vault liquidity, or the vault system separates out the funds being used from the logic that's deciding what to bid when, basically. So if you if you build a bot that's participating in the markets, then you can use the open source passive liquidity smart contract that we've built to plug it into that to sort of keep the funds in a separate contract it's deploying out of, instead of just like an EOA or however else you would have it set up for testing.
Neat. Very well put together, sir. It's very good.
Thank you.
I don't have any more questions. There's some just positive notes coming in from people listening in the Discords. Just to answer your question again, there will be a dedicated workshop for, well, I don't say a workshop, but walkthrough of how to set this up for the challenge, which will be probably like less than 10 minutes on how to get started. But this is also recorded on YouTube, so you can watch this back if you want to. I think, is there anything you want to share on the challenge or the hackathon? Like, I know we're going to do some more structured comms around it next week, but whilst we're here, what do you think it will be looking like?
I'm super excited for it. Again, we're really trying to live the crypto and DeFi sort of ethos of being sort of building in public, and so having more community involved sooner than later is going to be really awesome. We're just tying off, sort of finalizing how the API and some of the stuff is set up over the next like week or two. It'll be stable to build on by Monday, but we're still at a point where getting feedback from community and other builders is really, really valuable because we can still make big changes pretty quickly. So we're really excited for the hackathon to start, bringing in bot builders and getting some regular volume out of that. And as I mentioned, the app is currently still in an invite-only phase. So builders are really getting the first look at this. And so, we're excited to get more people involved.
Nice. Yeah, and we'll be setting up a channel in the Discord for Noah and the Sapience team to, I guess, take questions or just engage with people, probably like Monday, Tuesday next week. And we'll introduce more structure of those challenges and what the prizes are, and just provide you all the information that you need to get started, hopefully. So looking forward to it. I don't have too much more to add. I think just there's somebody typing in the Discord, so if there's any questions, feel free to throw it in. But where can people get started if they are listening right now? Noah, like, can they get an invite code from you? Can they go to the website and do something right now? Like, what's the best course of action?
So if you go over to sapiens.xyz, you can click into the docs. We have a tab for the builder guides, and there's an Eliza OS specific page within that as well.
Okay.
So I would say just like, get in there and start building stuff, and reach out to me personally, message us in the Discord if something's not working or a little confusing or a little weird. Like, this is why we're doing it. Tell us and we'll fix it. So we're all DMs are open.
we know we live the same mantra. We have the same mantra. Noah, thank you so much. Let's call that there. I think. There's actually one question. Can users of Babylon deploy? I don't think that's relevant to this. I don't think that's relevant to this session, but Noah, thank you so much. Look forward to next week.
All right. More soon.
Take care.
Cool. Thank you.
Cheers. See you guys. Thanks so much.